This is what's on your roof. Well, some people's roofs. Not good. Super heavy stuff. Super heavy stuff. Slush all over.
This is Highway 401 eastbound, collectors at the 427. The lanes have been plowed, but the shoulders have not, and that's obviously because
push.
Parts of southern Ontario, Quebec warned to prepare for another strong winter storm. As people in parts of Ontario and Quebec dig themselves out of one winter storm, they are being warned to prepare themselves for another one. Environment Canada has issued a winter storm warning for the city of Toronto as well as areas southwest and northeast of the Ontario capital. The agency forecasts 25 to 40 centimeters in Toronto, with similar conditions also expected in parts of southwestern Ontario. Those same conditions are forecast in the Ottawa area as well as southern and central Quebec, as Environment Canada has issued a winter storm warning for that region too. Environment Canada says rapidly accumulating snow could make travel challenging in some areas. Strong winds and snow are also expected in parts of Prince Edward Island and Nova Scotia, with gusts reaching 90 kilometers an hour on Sunday. Just as Ottawa digs itself out from this week's heavy snowstorm, forecasters warn more winter weather is on the way this weekend. Environment Canada has issued a fresh winter storm warning for the city, with up to 40 more centimeters of snow expected to start falling Saturday afternoon and continue into Sunday evening. The heaviest snowfall is expected Sunday. At its peak, the snow could fall at a rate of 6 centimeters per hour. The snowfall is expected to ease by Monday morning. Environment Canada says it's too early to predict which specific areas will see the worst of the storm. The storm is expected to bring poor visibility and blowing snow. Residents are advised to avoid travel if possible and to continue monitoring alerts and forecasts as the storm approaches. One day after an intense winter storm dumped over 30 centimeters of snow on Montreal, the city is racing to clear some streets before another one arrives. Forecasters predict another round of heavy snowfall on Sunday. Between 25 and 40 centimeters are expected. But the city's streets are already a mess, covered with the remnants of Thursday's snow. It's an exceptional situation, said Philip Sabourin, the city's spokesperson on all snow clearing related issues. It's been 20 years since I've been following snow clearing operations in Montreal, and I've rarely seen two giant storms of 30 centimeters back to back, as close together with so little time to adjust. Workers have already plowed streets across the city, but snow removal, using trucks and heavy machinery to transport the snow to disposal sites, had not yet begun by Friday morning. That will change Friday evening. The city is launching what Sabourin called a special loading operation. Beginning at 7 p.m., crews will drive loaders and industrial snowblowers down major arteries to remove as much snow as possible before the first snowflake falls on Sunday. We have 36 hours before the next storm, so it's a race against the clock, Sabourin said.
Put there by the flipping snowplow. I mean, I pay my taxes, but I don't pay to shovel.
Normally, a snow removal operation after a 35-centimeter storm would take 6 days, he said. So the city isn't trying to remove snow from every road. Rather, they are prioritizing major arteries and strategic routes, including those near hospitals and fire stations. They will be clearing some residential streets, particularly extremely narrow ones, but by and large will turn their focus elsewhere. Sabourin said the city's goal was to clear approximately one-quarter of its streets before the snow begins on Sunday. He described the goal as ambitious and asked residents to respect parking restrictions. Emergency preparedness experts say to stay home if possible as Ottawa residents face a second severe snowfall this week. Environment Canada has issued winter storm warnings for much of eastern Ontario and western Quebec. The Weather Service is predicting another 25 to 40 centimeters of snowfall. It's set to begin Saturday afternoon and is expected to continue into Sunday evening. The heaviest snow is expected Sunday, with peak snowfall rates of 3 to 6 centimeters per hour. The most snow could fall over the Algonquin Highlands. The storm is expected to bring wind speeds up to 50 kilometers per hour, causing poor visibility and blowing snow. The National Weather Agency is advising people to avoid travel if possible, and to continue monitoring alerts and forecasts as the storm approaches. The storm is being brought to the region by a strong low-pressure system moving in from upstate New York, according to Environment Canada. While a weekend storm may not break any records, experts say it is a good idea to be prepared. The city declared a significant weather event Wednesday, and that remains in effect. The declaration signals to city staff and residents that snow clearing may take longer than usual. A winter parking ban has been called for 10 a.m. Sunday until further notice. Drivers who regularly park on the street can park in one of several city lots designated for use during a parking ban. Bryden Denny's, area manager of special operations with the city, said the city still hasn't removed all the snow from the previous snowfall, so it will take time to clear. Some sidewalks still haven't been cleared since Wednesday's snowfall, with another on the way Saturday night. Ottawa saw a significant snowfall Wednesday night in what was the heaviest snowfall to hit the region since 2022. Sunday could break that record, but likely won't be the worst snowfall the city has seen. As people in parts of Ontario and Quebec dig themselves out of one winter storm, they are preparing themselves for another one. Environment Canada has issued a winter storm warning for the city of Toronto as well as areas southwest and northeast of the Ontario capital. The agency forecasts 25 to 40 centimeters in Toronto, with similar conditions also expected in parts of southwestern Ontario. Those same conditions are forecast in the Ottawa area as well as southern and central Quebec, as Environment Canada has issued a winter storm warning for that region too. Environment Canada says rapidly accumulating snow could make travel challenging in some areas. Strong winds and snow are also expected in parts of Prince Edward Island and Nova Scotia, with gusts reaching 90 kilometers an hour on Sunday.
It's been like this since yesterday. It's been raining snow. You can see the whole place. This is February. It's when the snow drops more.
Parts of Ontario still digging out from their snowiest storm in nearly 2 years are bracing for another round of winter weather set to rival what they just endured. Environment Canada says Saturday could see 5 to 10 centimeters of snow dumped across southern and eastern Ontario, with freezing rain possible in some areas overnight. Meteorologist Stephen Flisvitter says a second burst of snow will arrive Sunday and bring up to another 20 centimeters. Crews in Toronto and Ottawa are still clearing roads and sidewalks after both cities experienced their highest single-day snowfall totals since March 2023. Toronto officials say they ticketed 1,500 vehicles and towed 10 others parked illegally along snow removal routes. Elsewhere, Canada Post says it has suspended delivery for Orillia and Midland due to snow and inclement weather. As the low-pressure system exits the province by Monday morning, it's expected to usher in colder air from the northwest and bring localized lake-effect snow squalls southeast of Georgian Bay. Estiat Johns NL. The eastern half of the country is forecast to be hit with a second major storm in less than 1 week, bringing high winds, lots of snow, and travel complications. On Friday, a low-pressure system that brought up to 45 centimeters of snow to parts of Ontario and Quebec earlier this week slammed into Newfoundland and Labrador, and another big storm is on its way, said Jennifer Smith, a national warning preparedness meteorologist with Environment Canada. The encroaching storm could bring up to 30 centimeters of snow to parts of southern Ontario and Quebec beginning Saturday, mostly in areas already digging out from major snowfall, she said. The storm is expected to continue eastward to Atlantic Canada early next week. The culprit is a stubborn high-pressure system that has been anchored over the prairies for more than a week, she said, which has brought persistent frigid temperatures and extreme cold warnings. Saskatoon has seen overnight lows plunge to minus 40 C with the wind chill, she said. The cold is likely to stick around until sometime next week, she added. That cold front is pushing low-pressure systems to the southeast, sending punishing storms to Ontario, Quebec, and Atlantic Canada. The back end of the slow-moving storm that hit Ontario, Quebec, and the Maritimes earlier in the week was making a mess of Newfoundland and Labrador and bringing high winds to western PEI and Cape Breton, said Jim Prime, an Environment Canada meteorologist. Snowfalls of up to 45 and 55 centimeters were in the forecast Friday for central, western, and southern Newfoundland and the north coast of Labrador. In St. John's, schools delayed opening as residents braced for flurries and freezing rain.
Experiencing whiteout conditions. We currently have a tractor trailer that's lost control. It's up on the center median.